Hey, Brian,
Yeah.
what's that one drink that you can just like never have again?
Oh, I would have to say it's probably any kind of like tequila drink, especially if it's mixed with something like spicy, like like cayenne or something.
You know, like a
Never,
habanero margarita?
never, ever again. No. What about you?
UV blue raspberry vodka. I think I drank like a liter of that on the 4th of July. Can never again. But that's not the type of happy hour we're supposed to be talking about, right?
No, we're a little too old for that. We're in a whole new kind of happy hour
Speak for yourself.
now.
Okay, so what's our happy hour?
Okay, happy hour is the term that we give to the meeting that we have once a week to plan out our week. Why do we call it happy hour?
Because I used to be like, hey, Brian, let's do our weekly planning meeting. And he'd be like,
It was
oh my
the
God,
like most dreadful
I
part.
hate planning meetings.
Seriously, the most dreadful part of my week is like, let's sit down with our calendars and write everything out and plan everything out for the week. And I was just like, duh, dread.
And see, I love it. Like, because having that plan and knowing what the week's going to look like gives me a sense of like peace and control and calm. So we do think that the verbiage that you use, the words that you use are super important. So probably like a year ago now, we started calling it our happy hour. And then we've really been upping our game on happy hours lately. So we have our happy hours Friday nights after the girls go to bed. And we are rotating who is in charge of the happy hour as far as like actually making it fun, whether that's a fun cocktail or a fun little after dinner dessert or a game, or what are we doing this Friday, Brian?
Can't tell you yet.
Oh, dang, we'll have to let you know. So you can make it fun, like figure out a way to make it fun, but then what does our actual meeting look like?
Happy hour is all about getting some work done and some plans laid out for the week. So it's really like we actually have an agenda. So it's really our planning meeting for the week. And the reason we do it Friday is so that we can enjoy the rest of the weekend and not end up with that like Sunday dread where you're kind of like already kind of feeling icky about the week coming up, but then yet you haven't even planned it. So we're doing it Fridays so that like our week is laid out ahead of us. We can enjoy the weekend and feel good about it. So the agenda is really about like laying in the layers of our calendar. What kind of layers are those?
So we start out with our like non-negotiables. So the kids' activities, if either of us have work events, like what are those event things that we know are going to happen, like they are concrete in our calendar, and just making sure that we are on the same page. Speaking of which, being on the same page, you can do this on a digital Google Calendar, whatever platform works for you, or you can do paper. We kind of have a weird hybrid of both right now. I am 100% paper, but I know a lot of you love digital, so you can totally do whatever platform. Anyway, so you start with those non-negotiables and events. Then we put in our workouts because that's like a super high importance thing for us. We figure out who's going to be at their workout when, so we make sure that there's someone home with the children. And then we go back and we review what our priorities are for the different areas of our life. We used to just like put the logistical things we needed to do on our calendar, but we wouldn't actually talk about where we were going and how we were going to get there. So as many of you saw, we did a retreat and we broke down these different areas of our lives and the action steps on how we want to get there. So when we do a weekly planning meeting, we look at those documents. We're like, okay, are we moving forward in those areas, and what needs to happen in the next week to keep moving forward in those areas? Or if we had planned on doing something last week for those areas and it didn't happen, why? How do we need to pivot and adjust?
Just to give you an idea, like quickly, our areas are like environment or home, self-care or physical wellness, parenting, marriage, and then social and recreation.
And then our careers, businesses, all that good stuff. So then after you've gone through the different areas, then we do our meal planning. We make sure we have our meals laid out, and then we'll even do our grocery list and our Instacart. And then we literally assign to-dos at the end. And also as we're reviewing those different areas of our life, if there's something that needs a deeper discussion, we put it in an IDS section, identify, discuss, and solve. So that's like our deeper, like where do we need to have conversations about things that aren't working, or more planning.
And sometimes we'll actually schedule in the deeper conversation that needs to happen, schedule it for some time during that week. So we might say like, okay, Tuesday night we're going to talk about this one topic that came up in tonight's happy hour.
Yeah, like what are we doing for Christmas? Okay, we don't want to fit that into our happy hour because we really do try to keep our happy hour to an hour. That is like really the goal. So if there's something that needs deeper discussion, we stick it someplace else in our week. So that is how we schedule our weeks. We'd love to know how you guys schedule your weeks. What day of the week works for you? What time do you make it fun? Do you just get like down and dirty and just do it and like it's all business?
And since we're talking about happy hours, tell us what your favorite drink is too.
Oh, you want them to tell us? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. What's your favorite drink?